Imagine waking up every morning, looking in the mirror and saying, "Today I might die." Sounds a bit dramatic, right? Like you are auditioning for a Shakespeare play that nobody asked you to be in. But for the samurai, this was not a bad mood or a goth phase. This was the morning routine. No coffee, no Instagram scroll, just a full-on mental slap in the face. Remember, my dude, death is always on the table. And somehow, this made them calmer, happier, and more badass than a person wearing sunglasses at night while riding a horse backwards. This, my friends, is the samurai code of death, and weirdly enough, it might just be the cheat code to actually enjoying life instead of stress-binging tortilla chips while waiting for the weekend. The samurai lived by Bushido, which translates to the way of the warrior, and while it covered things like loyalty, honor, and sword skills that could turn a watermelon into a smoothie in one swing, one of its most powerful teachings was memento mori, the constant remembrance of death. To them, death was not the enemy, it was a polite house guest who might knock at any time. And when you keep that in mind, you start to realize that all your daily annoyances, like Karen from accounting passive-aggressively rearranging the office fridge, are not really worth losing your mind over. Now, before you think this is some morbid obsession, like a true crime podcast binge gone too far, understand this. The samurai believed that by accepting the inevitability of death, you remove the fear that keeps you from living fully. It is like removing the parking brake before trying to drive, except the parking brake is your crippling anxiety about existence, and the car is your actual life. You see, most people treat death like Voldemort. It is the thing that must not be named. We avoid talking about it. We avoid thinking about it. We avoid funeral homes like they are pyramid schemes. But when you hide from death, you secretly give it power over you. Every decision, every risk, every step outside your comfort zone becomes haunted by the ghost of what if? What if I fail? What if I get hurt? What if I die? The samurai answer was, yeah, you might. And when you already accept the ultimate worst-case scenario, suddenly the smaller fears shrink down to the size of a chihuahua in a thunderstorm. History nerd alert. Samurai would actually rehearse their own death in their minds. They would imagine every possible way it could happen: battle, sickness, slipping on a decorative koi pond rock, and then mentally make peace with it. That way, when real life happened, they were not frozen in fear. This was not about becoming reckless. This was about becoming free. Psychologists today have fancy names for this. Terror management theory says that when you acknowledge your mortality, your brain is less likely to panic about it in the background. Stoic philosophers had a similar idea. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think," which is the ancient Roman version of stop doomscrolling TikTok and go hug your mom. Even modern neuroscience backs this up. Studies show that people who practice mortality awareness tend to make more meaningful choices, take healthier risks, and have lower anxiety levels. It is like a mental detox that wipes out all the pointless fears. Think about it. How many times have you not done something because you were scared? Did not ask someone out because you might get rejected? Did not apply for that job because you might not get it? Did not go on that trip because flying makes you sweat like you are hiding a kilo of diamonds in your socks? All of those fears are basically mini-deaths, and the samurai knew that mini-deaths are not worth missing the actual living part of life. Accepting death also has a side effect: gratitude. When you know time is limited, every little thing starts to shine. A cup of tea is not just hot leaf water, it is a tiny moment of peace. A sunny day is not just weather, it is an actual gift. Even arguing with your sibling becomes a reminder that you have someone alive to argue with, which is kind of a weird blessing if you think about it. And here is where the samurai were sneaky philosophers. They knew that if you live with death in your mind, you automatically live with life in your heart. They were not moping around writing sad poetry. Well, okay, some of them did write sad poetry, but it was very elegant and often about cherry blossoms. Because cherry blossoms fall quickly, they became a samurai symbol for life's fleeting beauty. Deep, right? Also way better than using the skull emoji. Of course, applying the samurai code today does not mean you need to start carrying a sword to work, although that would definitely make office politics more interesting. It means training your brain to accept that life is fragile, and that is exactly what makes it amazing. You can start small. Every morning, remind yourself, one day I will not be here. Not in a creepy way, but as a gentle nudge, like setting a reminder on your phone that says, remember, you are temporary, so maybe do not waste today arguing with strangers online about pineapple on pizza. You can also practice reverse bucket lists. Instead of obsessing over all the things you want to do before you die, think about the things you are glad you have already done. This shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance. The samurai would have loved this, except their reverse bucket lists were probably like, successfully defended my lord's honor, and did not get beheaded at last week's duel. Another samurai-friendly habit. When you face a decision, ask yourself, if I knew I was dying next week, would I still do this? This cuts through the noise fast. Suddenly, binge-watching a mediocre TV series instead of starting that passion project looks kind of silly. Now, yes, there are limits. You cannot live every day like it is your last, or you will end up broke, exhausted, and possibly in jail. The samurai balanced their death acceptance with discipline and purpose. They were not adrenaline junkies. They were meaning junkies. Their actions were guided by honor, loyalty, and contribution, not just YOLO energy. And here is the punchline. The more you accept death, the less you waste life. Your conversations get real. Your decisions get sharper. Your courage gets a six-pack. Suddenly, you are not the timid version of yourself, hiding in the corner. You are out there, fully alive, even in the smallest moments, because you know they will not last forever. The samurai code of death is not really about dying at all. It is about stripping away the illusion that you have unlimited time. It is about becoming the kind of person who says yes to the stuff that matters and no to the stuff that does not, because one day, the game ends and you do not get a restart button. So here is your mission. Try living 1 week with this samurai mindset. Each morning, acknowledge your mortality. Each day, choose one action that you would be proud of if it was your last. At night, look back and ask, did I live like I knew I was going to die? You might be surprised how much nonsense you stop caring about, because when death is not your enemy, life becomes your ally, and that is the real power of the samurai code. Now, if you enjoyed this little death pep talk, drop your thoughts in the comments. What would you do differently if you really accepted you are not going to be here forever? And make sure you subscribe to XQ, Quick Funny Explanations, for more fast, funny, and genius-level content that makes you smarter while you laugh so hard your ancestors feel it. The clock is ticking, my friend. Might as well click that button before it runs out.